get a better understanding. So I wanted us to just go through some of the Pasco. Where is it? All right, can you see the screen? Hello, can you see the screen?
Yeah.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
All right. So we have this as the IS and LM curves for a hypothetical economy. So this is the IS curve. Y equals 1,300 minus 40R, and then the LM curve is R equals -5 and 0.025Y. So the first question is for us to find the equilibrium levels of income and then interest rates. Okay, so this one we just have two simultaneous equations in two unknowns. The unknowns are Y and then R. So whichever way that you want to solve the simultaneous equation, you can choose to put Y into R or put R into Y, whichever way that you want to do that. So this is what I did. This is the IS curve, this is the LM. So let's put equation 2, that's the LM curve, into the IS curve. Okay, so doing that, this R is now -5 and then the 0.025Y. Okay, then we expand. -40 times -5 will give us 200. Okay, please be checking the answers in case I
Please, can you come again? Please, which year is that?
did I even check the year? Okay, this is an interim assessment, 2015.
Please, can you come again? My network went off.
Yeah, we just started though. We just started.
Okay.
We're looking at the IA for 2015. The first question. The first. So we've just been given the IS and LM equations for this economy. Okay, and we are to find the equilibrium level of income and then interest rates. So if you look at the two equations, we have two unknowns, two equations, two unknowns. So we are supposed to get exact values for the Y and then R. So we have to solve the two simultaneously, but however you solve it depends on you. Okay, there's no restriction. You can choose to put R into Y or put Y into R. But what I did here, I put R into Y. So this is the IS equation. This is for the LM. Okay, so when we come to the IS, we have -40R. So this R, instead of the R, we put the LM equation there. So we have -40 times -5 and then the 0.0251. So you have to expand. -40 times -5 will give you +200. And then -40 times 0.025Y will give you Y. Okay, so what you have to do is you have to just group like them. So you bring Y to the left-hand side. -1 comes here, becomes positive. So Y, you add Y, you get 2Y. This is equal to, if you add this to this, you get 1,500. So for you to get the equilibrium income, Y star, you divide through by 2. So Y star is equal to 750. Okay, so we've been able to get Y star, which is 750. If you want your R, you go back to the LM equation. This is Y. So put the 750 there. Put your Y star here. So we have -5. Then we have to expand the 0.025 times 750. So when you simplify this, you get 13.75. So the given these equations, the equilibrium income is 750. Equilibrium interest rate is 13.75. Is that okay? Are we together?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, there's this question that they didn't ask here, but there are times that they do ask. Okay, you'll be asked to find the slopes of the equations or the curves. Okay, you'll be asked to find the slope of the IS curve and that of the LM curve. Then you'll be asked to show which one is steeper. Remember the last time we met, I told you that the bigger the slope, the steeper the curve. Okay, the bigger the slope, the steeper the curve. So you just need to find the slopes and then you compare the two. So the one with the bigger value is the steeper curve. So let's try that here. I don't have it here, so we have to try it. Let's start with the LM curve. Remember, the slope is giving us dr dy. Okay, so you differentiate r with respect to y. So if you look at this, if you find dr dy, we'll get 0.025. So this is the slope of the LM curve. Okay, 0.025. I hope we understand this. Okay, and then if you want to find the slope of the IS curve, remember we said it's 1 over dy dr. Okay, the slope is supposed to be dr dy, but because the IS curve is given in terms of y, just find dy dr and reciprocate it. Okay, so doing that, to have 1 over dy dr is minus 40. Okay, so the minus just means there's an inverse relationship between interest rate and the income. So what is 1 over 40? What is the value of 1 over 40? Yes, I'm waiting.
0.025.
0.025.
Minus 0.025. So it's just like this. Okay, so if this is the case, then they all have the same slope, so none is steeper than the other. I'm sure that is why they didn't ask that question here, but there are cases where they will not be the same. So just assuming that this one was 0.25, then you will see that 0.25 is greater than 0.025. So the curve with the bigger slope will be steeper, and that would have been the IS curve. So whenever you get a question like that, just find the slopes, and then the one with the bigger slope is the steeper curve. Okay, that wasn't part of this one, but I just wanted you to be aware in case you go and then you meet something like that. So that is for the A, finding the equilibrium levels of income and then interest rate. Then now, how much and in which direction would the LM curve shift if money supply increases by 100 units? So they are increasing the quantity of money by 100 units. So what is going to happen to the LM curve? First, you talk about the magnitude, by how much. Then you talk about the direction. Is it shifting downwards? Is it going upwards? Okay. So that is what we want to do now. So if you take the, I think we will need a demand for money function. Okay, because there's a change in the quantity of money. Before we can find its effect on the LM curve, we need the parameters. Okay, we need C1, we need C2, and those things. So that's why they gave the demand for money function here, so that we'll be able to get our C2 out. Okay, so when you take the LM curve. Okay, this is the general form. The interest rate is equal to autonomous demand for money over the interest sensitivity of money demand minus 1 over the interest sensitivity of money demand times the money supply. Then we have C1 over C2 times Y. So this is the general form of the LM curve. Okay, so from here, if you want to find a change in interest rate or the change in the curve as a result of changing the quantity of money, you differentiate the interest rate with respect to the quantity of money. So you find change in R as a result of change in M. Okay, so change in R will be equal to the coefficient of M here. If you do the differentiation, you get minus 1 over C2. So change in R will be equal to minus 1 over C2 times change in M. Okay, times change in M. So you go back to the question and then see the change in the quantity of money. They said money the quantity of money increased by 100 units. So here the change is what? Is positive 100. Please, you have to be checking that. If there's a decrease in the quantity of money, then the change is going to be minus 100. And not just this. At times, the variable will increase by or will increase to. That one, you have to check those two statements. There are questions where you'll be given the various variables. You'll be given an equation for consumption, investment, quantity of money, demand function. Then you'll be asked to find the curves. So for that one, for example, you have an initial value of quantity of money. The next question that you do is of that form. So if, assuming initially the quantity of money was 200, and they tell you that now the money has increased by 100 units, then you know that the change in M is 100. But if they tell you that the quantity of money has increased to 250, you see, initially it was 200. Now it has increased to 250. Just know that the change in money there is not the 250. Change in money is 50. Is the new value minus the old one. So initially, the quantity of money was 200. Now it has increased to 250. So you know that the change there is 50. But if they tell you it has increased by, then by, you are picking the entire unit that you will be given. So like this example, the quantity of money has increased by 100. So the change in money is 100. If it increases 2, then you have to subtract the old one from the new one. I hope we understand that concept.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
So now
sir.
let's go back to our question. We want to see the change in the magnitude of change in the LM curve, and then where it will shift to if the quantity of money increases by 100. So first, you need your C2, the interest sensitivity of money demand. That's why they gave the demand for money function. So here the C2 is what? 25. Okay, 25. So the change in R is minus 1 over C2 times change in M. So minus 1 over 25 times, so the change in M is 100. So this is giving us minus 4. So by how much per the magnitude is going to change by what? By 4 units. If you want to be direct, then it is falling by what? By 4 units because of the minus sign here. Okay, so this is the first part of the question. The LM curve is going to change by 4 units. And then by which direction? Okay, here you see that the change in interest rate is minus 4. So the interest rate is falling. So the LM curve is what? Is shifting downwards. Okay, it is shifting downwards. As we all know that whenever they increase the quantity of money, the LM curve shifts downwards. So that will be the answers to that twin question. So by how much, we are talking about the 4 units, and then the direction, it is shifting downwards. Okay, so that is what you do if there's a change in the quantity of money. Then the next one, they are saying that we should find we are to use our answer in B to derive the new LM equation. Okay, so you take the old LM equation, then you add the change in interest rate as a result of the monetary policy. So the old one, we had -5 and then 0.025y, but now it is changing by -4. So just add your -4 to that equation. So the new LM curve is going to be -5 -4, which is what? -9. Then our 0.025y. So this is for the next question. This is the new LM curve. Okay, this is the new one. So the next one is going to be to find the new equilibrium income and then interest rate. The new equilibrium income and then interest rate. So what you have to do is that after the policy, you see there was no effect on the IS curve. So we are still using the old IS curve, but it's the LM curve that has changed. So now we are using the old IS curve and then the new LM to find the new equilibrium income and then price. So just like we did for the question A, you can just put the interest rate into the income equation. So put the LM curve into the IS curve. So half -40 -9. See that initially was -5. So now it's -9. -40 times -9 is positive 360. And then -40 times 0.025y gives us -y. So you send this y to the left hand side, we get 2y equals. If you add this 2, we have 1660. So divided by 2, we are getting 830. So you see that because of the increase in the quantity of money, there's an increase in income. And we know that when we increase if you use the diagram, okay, if this is the initial equilibrium, when you increase the quantity of money, LM curve shift downwards, income increases, interest rate falls. So you having this knowledge at the back of your mind should guide you. If you do the algebra and there's something wrong, you should know. So if they increase the quantity of money without any other policy, you know that income must increase and then interest rate must fall. If you get anything otherwise, you have to go back and check your maths. Okay, so now after we have a new income of 830, if you want the new interest rate, just go and put it into the new LM curve. Please don't put it in the old one. You put it here, and then we'll have 11.75. The initial one was 13.75. So you see that there's a reduction in the interest rate after the expansionary monetary policy. Okay, so it's as simple as that. Any question? Any question? All right.
No question.
Okay. Now the E is saying that how much and in which direction will the LM curve shift if autonomous money demand increases by 150 units. Now you should just know what is going to happen to the LM curve whenever there's an increase in the autonomous demand for money. I mean, intuitively, even before you do any math or use graphs, you see, if you know those things, you know that there's the direction that the thing is going to. So they just want to take the general form of the LM curve. Okay. Now, if you take this, let's go back to the initial. If you take this, the autonomous demand for money is the C0. Okay, so we want to find a change in R as a result of a change in C0. You differentiate R with respect to C0. You have 1 over C2. Okay, so change in R will be equal to 1 over C2 times change in C0. Okay, change in the LM curve resulting from a change in autonomous demand for money is going to be given as this. So change in R equals 1 over C2 times change in C2. By here, our change in C2 is 150. This one is an increase by, okay, so it has increased by 150, so positive. So just put remember the C2 is 25. So change in R is going to be 1 over 25 times 150. And this should give us positive 6. Okay, positive 6. Remember, whenever there's an increase in demand for, there's an increase in autonomous demand for money, the LM curve will shift upwards. And when it happens like that, there's supposed to be an increase in interest rate and a reduction in the income level. Okay. So let's look at that. So the change in R as a result of 150 units increase in the autonomous demand for money is 6. So if you want to find the new LM curve, you just add the 6 to the old one. Please, it's the very first one. Okay, the very first one, not the second one after the increase in the quantity of money. We are done with that one. Unless, of course, the question tells you that following from that particular question, you should do this. If not, you are always using the equations that were given in the question. Okay, so you go back to the old one, then you add 6. So the intercept is changing. If you add 6 to minus 5, we get 1. So this is the new LM curve. So after this, if you want to find the new equilibrium income and then interest rate, substitute this into the old, of course, and that's the only IS curve. Okay, so as before, we have minus 40 times the R, so 1 and then 0.025. Minus 40 times 1 should give us minus 40, and then minus 40 times this will give us minus Y. So you bring it here, we have our 2Y. Simplify this, we have 1260. So divided by 2, the new equilibrium is 630. So new equilibrium income is 630. Okay, so there's a reduction from the initial one. And then if you want your interest rate, you go and put the 630 into the very new LM curve. So you put it here, we are getting 16.75. 16.75. Okay, so you see that there's an increase. This the graphical representation of the two policies. Now, this is the initial one. Interest rate was 13.75. Income was 750. When they increased the quantity of money, LM curve shifted downwards. So interest rate fell and then income increased. But why? Why did income increase? It's because when they increased the quantity of money, we had excess supply of money. So we have excess demand for bonds. The price of bonds will increase and then interest rate will fall. So that is why interest rate, I think it's part of the question. You were supposed to use the graph to explain why the interest rates are falling like the way they are doing, and then the changes in income to why exactly income is changing. So for the first policy, when they increase the quantity of money, we have excess supply of money, excess demand for bonds, price of bonds will go up, and then interest rate will fall. That's why interest rate is falling. And after interest rate has fallen, investment will increase. When investment increases, income will also increase. That's why income increase like that. Okay, so that's for the first part. And then for the increase in the demand for money, if you increase demand for money, holding the quantity of money constant, you have excess demand for money, which means you have excess supply of bonds. So the price of bonds will fall, interest rate will increase. That is why interest rate increased to 16.75. After the increase in interest rate, investment will fall. When investment falls, income will fall from 750 to 630. So that is the explanation for the changes in the interest rate and then the income. All right, please, do we understand?
Please, you said investment to what?
For which one?
You were saying price of bonds will fall and then investments will.
Yeah, which one? Which one? Is it the increase in the quantity of money or the increase in the autonomous demand for money?
For the wait. Wait, please. What I got was excess demand for money and bonds.
Okay, then that
and
one
then
is the second one. If there is, you see that the second one, the question was like there's an increase in autonomous demand for money. So money demand has increased. Initially, money demand was equal to supply of money, but now money demand has increased, and as a result, there is a disequilibrium in the money market. So now money demand is more than supply of money. So we have excess demand for money in the money market. If you go to the bonds market, it means that they have excess supply of bonds. Okay, and that will cause the price of bonds to fall. And whenever price of bonds fall, the interest rate will go up because of the inverse relationship between the two. So now, after the interest rate has gone up in the money market or the financial market, now when you go to the goods market, investment is going to respond. Because of an increase in interest rate, investment will fall. And investment is a component of aggregate demand. And as a result, we will see a fall in income. So that is why income fell from 750 to 630. I hope that's fine.
Yes, please.
All right. Any other question? Any other question?
You see, there was this part where you wrote the LM curve. What were we finding there?
I couldn't hear you.
LM curve is equal to C something something something.
I couldn't hear you.
Please, I was saying that the R is equal to the LM curve is equal to this. What were we finding?
We just wanted to find the effect of a change in the quantity of money on the LM curve. Okay. Now, if you take the general form of the demand for money, and then you equate it to the quantity of money, this is what you get as the LM curve. So if there is a change in any of these components, if Y changes, or quantity of money changes, or autonomous demand for money changes, then if you want to find its effect on the interest rate, you differentiate interest rate with respect to that particular component. So if quantity of money increases, then for you to find the change in the LM curve, you need to find the product of that change and then minus 1 over C2. Okay, so I just wrote this so that you know that a change in R as a result of a change in M is equal to minus 1 over C2. Okay. Is that okay?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
All right. And then if there's a change in C2, then if you want to find its effect on R, then it's going to be 1 over C. If there's a change in C0, then a change in R resulting from a change in C0 is equal to 1 over C2. Okay, so you need these values. That is why even if they state the curves, they will still give you the demand for money equation so that you'll be able to fish out the C2. Okay. All right. Any other question? Any other question? But my question is that after the increase in interest rate here, okay, and investment falls, how does it affect output? There's an increase in autonomous demand for money. As a result, there's an increase in interest rate. Investment has fallen. What is the mechanism? How do people? Yeah. How does income fall?
Please, the question again. Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Please, I didn't hear what you said.
Yeah, my question is that after the increase in autonomous demand for money, we have seen that you go through the financial market and then there will be an increase in interest rates, right? Then because of the inverse relationship between interest rate and investment will fall. But how does the fall in investment cause income to fall? There's a mechanism there. I mean, how does a fall in investment affect income?